Hi everyone, I've got a really chill and cozy video for you today. I am finally showing you my zenlesszonezero account tour. I've been wanting to make one for quite some time now, but never got around to it. However, just about a week ago or so, I finally hit interknot level 60 after just about 1 year of playing, so I thought it would be the perfect time to make my account tour. This will be a long and yappy video, so feel free to grab a snack or a beverage while you watch, or maybe you can leave it on in the background while you do other things like chores or work. Also, big announcement, I just opened up the Cozy in the Garden Discord server. If you want to connect with other gamers in the Cozy Gacha space, be sure to join the server. We have channels for Genshin, zenlesszonezero, Honkai Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves, so if you're looking for some new friends and a casual server to talk about any of your favorite gacha games, the Cozy Garden welcomes you. The link is in the description, so I'll see you guys there. Alright, let's get started. So as I said, I've been playing for just about a year now. I'm not sure of the exact date that I started. However, looking at my achievements, some of the earlier achievements I have is like August 2024. So I want to say I started like late July to early August of 2024. So yeah, it's been just about a year now, although on my Hoyo lab, I think my active days aren't quite a whole year yet, so I did miss a couple of days here and there. I actually started the game in version 1.1, I believe, which was during Jane Doe's banner, so unfortunately I did miss the 1.0 release because at the time I just didn't want to start like a whole other game, So Jane Doe was my very first limited S rank character, and thanks to Jane, I was able to get through so much of the early and mid-game content. So I'll go through my characters and their builds now. I feel like that's kind of the most interesting part about an account tour in ZZZ anyway. Okay, so these are all of the characters that I own. As I said, Jane Doe was my first one, and then scrolling down even further to see the rest of my S ranks and my A ranks. And these are the characters that I don't have. I'll talk more about like what characters I want to get in the future later on in the video. Since Jane Doe was my very first limited S rank character, why don't I start with her? She is max level. These are her overall stats. And then of course I have all her core skills leveled up, and then we've got, most of her regular skills. What are these called? Just like regular skills, right? I've got most of these kind of high, but I'm realizing now that they could definitely use some work because I've been using Jane Doe a lot more recently, especially with Vivian. So I am definitely gonna level these up actually. And then she is on the Electro Lip Gloss, and this is W5. It does have the max enhancements. And then for her drive discs, I do have her on the 4-piece Fanged Metal and a 2-piece Chaos Jazz. I'm like low-key forgetting the names of these drive discs. Just getting mixed up with like all the Genshin and ZZZ and HSR in my brain, but that was just a quick run through of her drive discs. Honestly, I have not really worked on Jane's build very much, especially not recently. I do want to kind of go back and fix her build, improve her a little bit if I can. I have been using her a lot more recently, so I definitely do want her to be as strong as I can make her. As for Jane's signature Wenjin, I don't think I'll be pulling for it. I feel like I've been doing really good with her with the Electro Lip Gloss, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard something about Jane Doe's signature Wenjin like being a little hard to use. I don't know, I'm just like, this is something I remember from way back in the day when she first came out, and I was like debating on whether to get her Wenjin or not, but either way, I'm perfectly satisfied with her on the A rank weapon, so I don't think I'll be pulling for her signature. Okay, now let me like scroll back to maybe sort of the beginning of my character list, and then we'll just kind of go down the list from here. So here we have Yuzuha. She was one of my more recent pulls. You might have seen my Yuzuha pulling and building video. I don't think that I upgraded her build like since that video. I really don't remember. If I did, it was like extremely minor. But yeah, so these are her main stats here. And then of course we do have her core skills maxed, and then her skills are just kind of mostly leveled up, but I feel like I should probably level these up a little bit more since I'm using her in a lot of different teams. I was able to pull her signature Wenjin actually. I got pretty lucky and got an early pull on that one. And then she is on a 4-piece Protopunk and a 2-piece Phaeton's Melody. So here are the more zoomed in stats here. I know it's not great, like what is this triple defense roll? But yeah, I just didn't really get around to like fixing her build that much, so I definitely do need to do that in the near future. Yuzuha is probably one of my favorite characters from the more recent updates. I think her design is super cute. I really liked her role in the story, and I just love her like enthusiasm and just her overall positivity, as well as, you know, her like jokester personality. Next, we have Ishiwen. I also made a video for Ishiwen, so I don't know if I've upgraded her build very much since then. Honestly, after I like initially build my characters, I feel like I don't really go back to improve them that much if their builds are like decent enough. I'm kind of lazy in that sense. I feel like most of my builds are like average to above average at best. Like I don't think I have any necessarily bad builds, but I also don't like super min-max everything. Anyway, so here is my Ishiwen. I've been using her a lot recently, especially in the battle tower. She is a godsend in the battle tower, especially with like her HP sharing ultimate thing where she like splits the HP between your teammates. And then, you know, she has so much invulnerability as well. So yeah, I do have most of her skills maxed here, or at least pretty high. Although I could probably, you know, level these up a bit just because I am using Ishiwen quite a lot. And then, you know, max core skills, obviously. And then we do have her on the 4-piece Yunquei Tails and the 2-piece Woodpecker Electro. Here is close up at those drive discs. And then I do have her signature Wenjin as well. Oh, and of course she is wearing her limited skin. I really like this skin. I do prefer it over her like regular skin. I think she just looks really elegant, and I don't know, I just like the vibes of this skin. So I definitely had to get it. Next up, we've got the GOAT, Astra Yao. I've been spamming Astra on literally every single team in like every single combat up until I got Yuzuha. Astra definitely has a lot of usage in my account, as I'm sure she does in most of your accounts if you have Astra. So here are her overall stats. I'm not really sure like what her attack threshold is, but it seems high enough to me. And then, of course, we do have her ultimate and her EX special maxed out here. I don't think these are very important for her, so I didn't really bother to level these quite as much. And then core skill maxed, of course. And then I also have her signature Wenjin, which I believe I got pretty early. I want to say I got it in like less than 30 pulls if I remember correctly, although it's been a while since I did get Astra on her release. And then we have her on the 4-piece Astro Voice and the 2-piece Hormone Punk. I feel like she has a lot of like crit rolls kind of for no reason, because I don't know if that's really important for her at all, but I do have them anyway. And next up, we've got Astra's bodyguard, Evelyn Chevalier. I really love Evelyn. I really like her character. I really like her design, and I like her playstyle as well, although I feel like I'm not very good at it. Like, I don't know why, but with Evelyn, I keep getting like hit, you know? It's hard for me to dodge attacks with Evelyn for some reason. I know you can use her like EX special or her special skill to counteract like an enemy attack, but I don't know. I'm just not good at doing that. I think I forget about that part of her kit. Anyway, here are her stats. I feel like her stats are like pretty good. I'm pretty proud of this crit ratio, to be honest. And then of course we do have a lot of her skills maxed out here. Since she is a DPS, I did decide to level up a lot of her stuff. I also use her quite a lot when I first got her, since she was one of my few DPS characters on my account. And then I have her signature Wenjin as well. I'm pretty sure I got this one early too. A lot of my signature wenjins that I have, I actually did happen to get early, which I'm very, very grateful for. And then her drive discs are the 4-piece Woodpecker Electro and the 2-piece Branch and Blade Song. So taking a look here at the stats, just to show you guys. So yeah, I feel like her 75 to 176 crit ratio is like pretty solid. I've never felt like I struggled too much in terms of clearing with Evelyn. I think a lot of it has to do with like my own skill issue with her rather than her own base damage or anything. Okay, and then next up we've got my main Hoshimi Miyabi. I did get her on her release. Unfortunately, I lost her 50-50 and then I lost the 75-25 for her Wenjin as well. So this was a really painful banner for me, but I had saved up for a long time to get her. So thankfully, you know, I didn't have to really spend. I don't regret pulling Miyabi whatsoever. She's by far my favorite character to play. I feel like she's just so easy to play, but also equally as satisfying. And then so for her crit ratio, I do have her at 81 to 138. I really wish I could get her crit damage up to like 140 to 150, even higher if that's possible. But I feel like I have a pretty good balance of attack and crit damage and anomaly proficiency. So overall, I am satisfied with her build. And then I do have her almost fully maxed out. It's only her dodge that's level 11. Everything else is level 12. But I'm definitely gonna level this up. I wonder if I can level it up right now. Okay, you know what? I'll just level it up now. There we go. So we have a fully maxed out Miyabi. All of her skills are level 12 now. And then of course I do have her signature Wenjin. I think her signature Wenjin is just like so good. I mean, that crit damage increase is kind of crazy. Anyway, so then for her drive discs, I have the 4-piece Branch and Blade Song and then the 2-piece Faith and Melody. Honestly, I feel like my rolls for her drive discs are like pretty good. I don't have too many wasted rolls, except for like here I have that HP and defense roll. Even this ice damage bonus drive discs, I have like 4 rolls into AP, which I feel like is pretty good. Overall, I am pretty happy with my Miyabi build. She is probably one of the only characters that I'd be willing to put in like time and energy to min-max, at least right now. I would love to get some more of her mindscapes, although I'm not really sure what they do, to be quite honest. Maybe in the future I might, since she is probably my favorite character in the game. Alright, and then right after Miyabi, very fitting, is Miss Yanagi. She was my most recent pull. I'm so happy that I got her. I'm so happy that I won her 50-50 as well. She's probably one of my favorite characters also in ZZZ next to Miyabi. I just love her personality. I don't know, I just like her vibes. I think she's really gorgeous. I will say that I sort of underrated her at first. I did skip her on her release, mainly because like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I guess I didn't realize that she would be like Miyabi's best partner. I don't know. I guess like that information just didn't come across my desk or something. So unfortunately, I did skip her kind of for that reason and also because I was saving for Miyabi, but thankfully I was able to get her on her recent rerun. So here are her overall stats. I do have her anomaly proficiency at 383. I'm not really sure what like her threshold is supposed to be, but I think it's like sort of on the lower end or the mid-range of her stronger builds, I want to say. And then she does have her core skills maxed out. And then I am still working on her regular skills because I do need to get some more of the shock chips. I do have her signature Wenjin, her drive discs. I have her on the 2-piece Freedom Blues and a 4-piece Chaos Jazz. Honestly, I feel like her build is like okay, but it definitely needs some improvements. Like I do have a couple of wasted rolls here and there, so hopefully I'll be able to do that. Although I am trying to learn how to use Yanagi better. I feel like I'm not very good at using her kit. Like I'm not very good at her combos. Maybe I just don't really understand it too well. She is fun and she is satisfying to play. I think I just kind of suck. So I'm definitely gonna need to practice her combat. Next up, we've got our little tiger, Jufufu. I know that not a lot of people pulled for Jufufu, but I was really excited to pull for her after learning that she is a tiger Thyran because like my zodiac animal is a tiger as well. So I have a pretty okay crit ratio for her at 57 to 107, and then her attack is over 3000, which I believe was required for like her core skills. I do have her core skills maxed out, however her regular skills are not very high. I'm just noticing right now, so I will need to work on this and level these up. I want to at least get like the more important ones to level 11 maybe, so I'll probably level up her EX special and her chain attack to level 11. I feel like that'd be good enough. And then I have Jufufu on the Hellfire gears. I actually have 2 of these, or no, I have 3 of these because this one is like M2, or not M2, W2. I get confused by all these letters. Yeah, I have 3 copies of the Hellfire gears, very unluckily I suppose. So I do have Jufufu on that. And then of course her drive disc, she has a 4-piece King of the Summit and then a 2-piece Astral Voice. I've been using Jufufu a lot, either on my Ishuen team or I use her as the stunner on my Evelyn and Astra team. To be quite honest, I'm not that good at using like stun teams or like having the best chain attack efficiency or anything, but I do enjoy using Jufufu overall. I think she's really cute and I'm really happy that I have her on my account. Next up, we've got Pan Yenhu. Honestly, I only built him for my Ishuen before I got Jufufu, so I don't really use him quite as much anymore. And I only have his M5, so hopefully I can get that M6 very soon, and then maybe I'll improve upon his build. His core skill is only at level D, and then his regular skills are also not very leveled up. I don't know, I think maybe I'll come around to leveling him up some more. I'm not really sure yet. And then for his Wenjin, I have him on the Tremor Trigram Vessel, which I believe is his signature Wenjin. For his drive discs, I have the 4-piece Astral Voice and 2-piece Swing Jazz. Again, I didn't spend too much time on his build, so it's not that great. Next up, we've got Miss Vivian Banshee. I really love Vivian. Honestly, I think her personality is like kind of funny. Like her obsession with Phaethon, I think is pretty funny. I do like it. I really like her like in combat, you know, for my teams. She basically saved my she saved my Jane Doe from the trenches, you know, because I kind of stopped using Jane Doe for a while after I got Miyabi and Evelyn and such, but with Vivian, my Jane Doe is 100% back in the game. I feel like my Vivian has pretty good AP at 465. Seems pretty good to me. Again, I don't really know like the ZZZ build guides off the top of my head, so let me know in the comments if you think I need to change anything. But I do try to research, you know, everyone's builds and stuff. And then so her core skills are maxed out, and then her regular skills are fairly high, although I think I'm definitely gonna level up her ultimate and then maybe her basic attack as well, just because I use Vivian quite often. If anything, I'm using her in one of the 3 deadly assaults. And I also have Vivian's signature Wenjin. I think I got this very early. I don't know what it is about my Wenjin luck in Zenless, but it's been pretty good. So of course I have her on the 4-piece Phaethon's Melody, and then we've got the 2-piece Chaos Jazz. And then I already went over Jane Doe, so I'll move on over to Seth, I suppose. I use him a lot in the early game with Jane Doe. I think like Jane, Seth, and Bernice was one of my main teams that I use, so I do have a lot to thank Seth for. You know, he really did help me in the early game. I do have his M6, and then I haven't really built him very much since he was really just kind of an early game character for me. I think some of his drive discs I might have switched around. However, I have him on the 4-piece Protopunk and the 2-piece Swing Jazz. And then he is on his signature A rank Wenjin as well. I don't really know if I'll really find a good use for him anymore because I have other defense characters and other support characters, but I do appreciate him very much. Next up, we've got Trigger. I really like Trigger's design and I like her playstyle. I like the sniper situation that she's got going on. I feel like my Trigger build is like pretty decent. I have the 80% crit rate that is required of her kit. I have her crit damage at 117 and her impact is 162 since she is a stunner after all. I have her core skills maxed out and then her regular skills are fairly high. At least the important ones are high. And then I have her signature Wenjin also. This one was also an early. And then she is on the 4-piece King of the Summit, the stunning drive disc, and then a 2-piece Shockstar Disco. The only thing about having Trigger on my account though is that I feel like I don't really have a good use for her. I don't have Sanbi other than Yanagi, who was, you know, a very recent pull. I didn't have any other electric characters before, at least that were built. So I feel like I didn't really give Trigger like her full potential on my account. However, I do very much appreciate her. I did use her a bit on my Evelyn and Astra team, sometimes just to give Evelyn a stunner. I think she is my first limited stun character, so I might have pulled her at the time mainly because I kind of wanted a stun character. And of course, I just do like her design and personality overall. I do hope that I can find more use for Trigger in the future, maybe with another electric character or just with more teams in general. I am trying to use her more with Yanagi recently, so if you guys have any tips or any team comps I can use with Trigger, you know, let me know. Next up, we've got Caesar. I'm pretty sure I pulled Caesar like really early on her banner, which is great because she was really helpful for me in the early game. I mean, her shield is like really good, and I also use her in the battle tower sometimes. I feel like that shield really comes in clutch. I just have her on her standard like impact build with the crit ratio being 55 to 102. And then I do have her core skills maxed out. Her EX special is maxed out, and then her other skills are just a respectable number, but I do think I could upgrade these just a bit. She does have her signature Wenjin, Tusks of Fury. I distinctly remember, I'm pretty sure I got this in like 15 pulls or less. I have her 4-piece Protopunk drive disc and then 2-piece Hormone Punk. Overall, I think my Caesar was just very dependable for me. I really like her design because I love like green haired characters, honestly. I just love green characters, I guess, overall. I think her personality is just really silly, even though I don't use Caesar quite as much recently, other than in the battle tower sometimes. I definitely don't regret pulling her. I feel like she's just a good sort of backup character to have when I need her. Alright, and then we've got Bernice. I believe Bernice was my second limited character right after Jane Doe. So of course, Bernice had a lot of screen time alongside Jane Doe in her anomaly teams. So for her stats, I do have her at 389 anomaly proficiency, which I think is like good enough. Her core skills are maxed out, and then her regular skills are respectable, but I feel like it could definitely be upgraded, especially her basic attack and her chain attack or ultimate. And then I do not have her signature Wenjin. However, I have her on the Weeping Gemini. Also, sometimes I just kind of switch around the Weeping Gemini and the Electro Lip Gloss between Bernice and Jane Doe. I don't know which one is better for which character. For my drive discs, of course, I have the 4-piece Chaos Jazz and then the 2-piece Freedom Blues. I have not worked on Bernice's build literally since like her release, honestly. So I think there is definitely some room for improvement here. There's a lot of like defense and HP rules here that I do not like looking at. So I am gonna fix her build soon, even though I don't use Bernice with my Jane Doe very much anymore. I actually use Bernice a lot with Miyabi. I've been finding Miyabi, Bernice, Lucy team to be quite good as sort of a backup team when my stronger supports or stronger sub DPSs are given to like my Evelyn or my Jane or something. And then Miyabi, I kind of default her to my Bernice and Lucy team. I actually really like the team and I have a lot of fun with it. And then next we've got Lucy, who is M6. As I said, I use her a lot with Bernice and Miyabi. That's kind of the main use case for her. Although I will just kind of slot Lucy in as my extra support character whenever I need one. Other than Astra and Yuzuha, Lucy is my only other support character that I have built. I don't know why I said that because that's a total lie because I have Rena and Nicole, but I guess I just use Lucy so much more often. Her build is like not very complete honestly, which is kind of a shame considering how often I use her, which is not like super often, but it's often enough that she deserves a better build. So her core skills aren't even maxed out. I'll definitely have to farm for those materials, and then I'm gonna level up some of her regular skills as well in the near future. She is on her signature Wenjin, the Kaboom, the cannon, and then for her drive disc, I have her on a 4-piece swing jazz and a 2-piece hormone punk. Although I'm not sure if there is a better support set for her. Like, I don't know if Astral Voice is better for her, or if perhaps with one of the newer support drive discs coming out in the future, maybe I can switch over to one of those. Next up, we've got Piper. Piper is actually one of my favorite A ranks in the game in terms of like design and personality, and I also really like the sound of her English voice acting. Like, I don't know, I just like the sound of her voice. I kind of did a lazy build on Piper, but I feel like I do want to properly build her a bit more just to be able to use her some more in my combat. I have her at 321 anomaly proficiency, which I mean doesn't sound like it's super duper high, but it doesn't sound terrible either. And then yeah, like I said, I have not really built her properly. Her core skills are only at level D, and then her regular skills are like barely leveled, which I didn't realize actually. I thought that I had her skills leveled up a little bit more, but I don't. I am gonna have to work on her build some more. For her drive discs, I just have her on the 4-piece Fanged Metal and then 2-piece Freedom Blues. And then of course she is on her signature Wenjin as well, the Roaring Ride. Next up, we've got Lycon. The thing about Lycon is I have him at M3, which is kind of crazy. He was the first standard character that I pulled, and then I also just kept on getting him from like early pulls on the standard banner. I think I got him early twice on the standard banner, and then I think I pulled him one more time maybe in like a 50-50 loss or something, but I don't know why I have so many Lycons. Not that I'm really complaining because I do use him on occasion with my Miyabi. However, I don't have my Sukaku built, so I've never tried a mono ice team, but that is something that I want to, challenge in the future. So I haven't built my Lycon very well. His crit ratio is a little bit sad at 45 to 93. I feel like that could be a couple of percentage points higher for both of them. Of course, I do have him focused on impact, which is 194. And then his core skills are maxed out, with his regular skills being not super leveled up. But I don't really find myself using Lycon too frequently, which is why I never really got around to leveling these up that much. And then for his Wenjin, unfortunately, I don't have his signature, but I have him on a W2 Hellfire Gears. And then for his drive discs, I have him on the 4-piece Shockstar Disco and a 2-piece Swing Jazz. Again, I did not really build him very well, so some of these aren't even leveled up all the way, but that's okay. I think he's still doing a good job on my account or on my teams. And now we have Rena. I do have her M1, which I'm very thankful for because I know that without her M1, she is like a little bit annoying to use with her uptimes and stuff. But I do have her pen ratio at 62% and her attack at 2100. Her core skills are maxed out and her regular skills are not very high, honestly. Only her EX special is at level 10. So I feel like I should probably get around to leveling these because I do like Rena. I don't typically care for like maid designs very much, but I actually do like Rina's designs, especially because of her little bang boos. And then I have her on the 4-piece astral voice. I did have her on the pen ratio set before, but then I, read somewhere that the astral voice is kind of better for Rina, so I switched her over. And then I have her signature Weeping Cradle Wenjin as well. And I got Weeping Cradle on the standard Wenjin selector for the anniversary. I originally got this weapon to give it to Yuzuha, but then since I was able to get Yuzuha's signature, I passed it back over to Rina. And then we've also got Nicole. Actually built Nicole fairly recently. Kind of a lazy build. I didn't really work too crazy hard on her build. Yeah, I don't know really what's important in her build. I have her attack at 2200, her anomaly proficiency at 257, her ER at 3.58. I don't really know, how good or bad that is, but I think she's kind of decent if I were to guess. Her core skills are leveled, and then I have her EX special at level 12, with everything else being a bit lower. I feel like I don't really use Nicole that much. I don't really know how to properly use her. Like, I don't really know her kit to the full extent. However, I do love Nicole as a character and I love her design as well. I have her skin, but I kind of prefer her regular skin more, so I do keep her on the original one. And then her Wenjin, I have her on the vault at W5, and then her drive discs are a 4-piece astral voice and a 2-piece swing jazz. I'm not sure if I'll continue building Nicole unless she becomes somehow like a best in slot for one of my characters or teams. However, I am glad that she is at least built well enough that she is usable. We've also got Billy, who I also built very recently. I kind of built him just for fun. He is like one of my favorite sort of starter characters, honestly. I think he's just so silly. I just like his design. So I have his crit ratio at 58 to 147. With 2700 attack. I'm not very good at using Billy. Like, I don't really know how to properly play his combos and stuff, so I feel like I haven't really been able to utilize him to his full potential. His core skills also aren't fully leveled up. I think I was working on this recently, but then I stopped to like build or pre-farm someone else or something, but maybe I will get back to this and max out his core skills. His regular skills also are not very leveled. And then for his Wenjin, of course, he is on the Starlight engine replica. And then his drive discs are a 4-piece Woodpecker Electro and a 2-piece Branch and Blade Song just for his crit ratio. If any of you guys are Billy mains and have any team recommendations or just any advice about using him, please let me know because I would love to get better at using Billy. Oh, and I forgot to mention he is M6 and Nicole is M6 as well. I think all of my A ranks are M6 with the exception of Pan Hu. Okay, so I think that is about it for my built characters. I did sort of partially build my Harumasa, but I didn't max him out. I think I switched around some of his drive discs as well. Like, he obviously has some really random drive discs and no engine. So yeah, I am interested in building him and learning how to use him, although I found that his combos and stuff were slightly confusing. I think if I just sit down and learn and practice, it should be okay, but yeah, I just never really got around to building him. So as for the other agents on my account that I want to build, I'm definitely going to build Sukaku very soon because I want to try the Miyabi Mono Ice teams since I know the potential for that team is really, really high. And also, I think Sukaku is just a cutie pie, so I want to build her anyway. I'm surprised I haven't built her for this long. Like, I've had her basically since the beginning, but I've never built her, which is quite interesting. I used Korin for quite a bit in like my very, very, very early game. But of course, after I got Jane Doe, I kind of stopped using Korin. Or maybe I might have used Korin on like the other side for the Shiyu and stuff. But anyway, I like Korin's playstyle. I think it's interesting, but I don't really feel the need to build her any further right now. My Anbi is also not leveled. I don't think I'll level her since I have Trigger to cover that electric stunner role.
Looking for info or
And then Pulchra, although she's not like my favorite character in terms of design, I am interested in building her, maybe just for fun. And then Kaleda, I pulled her recently on the standard selector for the anniversary. But since I have Jufufu, I don't know if I'll build her. However, I think she's really cute. I love her hair and I love her personality. Soldier 11, honestly, I don't think I'll build her simply because I have Evelyn. As for Grace, I feel like I do want to build her eventually. I like anomaly characters overall, and then I really like Grace's personality and her design as well. And then Nekomata, I don't think I'll be building her either, although I think she's really cute. I do think she is really, really cute. Lastly, we've got Anton and Ben, who I probably will not be building. Alright, so now that I went through all of the characters that I own and have built, maybe I'll just show you guys some of the teams that I use most frequently. Okay, so I recently kind of organized my teams list. To be quite honest, I don't really use these team presets that much. Sometimes I find it easier to just like manually select the characters, especially if I'm trying to like switch up my teams or use different characters and stuff. I have here as my squad number 1 the Yanagi Yuzuha Miyabi team, which is one of the more recent fresh and new teams that I've been using. And then I have a variation here of a Vivian and Yuzuha team. I used to use Astra with them, but of course Yuzuha has now taken that spot. This is my main Yishuen team that I use, which is Astra, Yishuen, and Jufufu. Although I will say that I actually really love using Astra, Yishuen, and Miyabi as a team. They do get all of their like additional ability things, and just this like double DPS team is just kind of satisfying to me, even though I know it's not like either of their best teams. But I actually use this team a lot in the battle tower. And then this is that Bernice, Lucy, Miyabi team that I mentioned that I used quite frequently. And then of course we've got Evelyn, Jufufu, and Astra. And then this is just like a Miyabi team with the Victoria housekeeping duo. I use this team if I needed more ice or even if I needed electric, because I didn't really have an electric character prior to Yanagi and even Trigger. And then lastly, I have a triple electric team with Yanagi, Trigger, and Rina, which is a team that I'm trying to learn to use more after pulling Yanagi, and also just because I want to give Trigger some more screen time. Yeah, so these are the teams that I feel like I mainly reach for, especially these like upper teams here, although I don't necessarily use these presets as much as I just like click on these individual characters and change them here. And then let me just cover very briefly my shiyu defense and deadly assault. I don't know if there's any way to view like your history here in the game. I know you can see some of it in the Hoyo lab, but I'm kind of lazy to open that. But the shiyu defense, I have been getting full stars or full S rank ratings for quite a long time now. For the last many cycles I have gotten the 7 out of 7. I haven't attempted this one yet, which is why it's still a 3 out of 7, but I have basically like no doubts that I'll get 7 out of 7 for any of the shiyu defenses now, just because I feel like my roster is pretty wide enough to cover all of the weaknesses. And even for like weaknesses that I don't have a solid team for, I usually just chuck in my Miyabi and she takes care of them pretty well. And then for the deadly assault, I also have not tried this new one just yet, but I am able to get 9 stars like 99% of the time. I did get 9 stars for like the last several deadly assaults that I remember. Sometimes if I'm lazy, I will only just do the 6 just to get the polychrome rewards, but I do typically try to aim for the 9, and I am typically able to get it. As for the battle tower, for this most recent battle tower, the glory one, I'm only at floor 20 right now. Honestly, I'm like lazy to do this. I feel like it's so time consuming, but I'm definitely gonna learn from my mistakes from the previous battle tower, because I speedran from floor 0 to 100 in the span of like 2 or 3 days, and that was like super painful. My hands and my thumbs were hurting. They were quite sore from all of that. So I'm trying to kind of take it more slowly early this time around. I mean, we still have a lot of time left anyway, so I'm not worrying too much, although I'm gonna kind of make an effort to do like a couple of floors every week. However, I will say that I am struggling a bit more in this season of the battle tower compared to last season. Like, I'm only on floor 20, but I feel like I'm kind of struggling. Is that just me? I'm not sure. And then for like the permanent battle tower, I obviously have barely attempted this one either. I should definitely go through this just to at least get the polychromes, but I'm just lazy, honestly. And not that this is super interesting for anyone, but I did max out my Swabian temple restoration level as well. I actually really had fun doing this like management game, and I hope they add something like this again in the future. It was pretty fun. I really liked it. Alright, next, I'll just kind of go through some more like aesthetic stuff in my account. I'll maybe start with the name card that I have, or at least, okay, so this is my profile. As I said, I recently reached interknot level 60, so I have the Faith in Returns title, and then these are the characters that I like to showcase here. And then for my name cards, so these are all the name cards that I have. I am using this tiger one because I just think it's really cute. For like my Mindscape name cards, I do have the M3 for Lycon, so I have his. Then of course I have most of the A rank name cards as well. I think my favorite of the name cards might be Nicole's. I also like Piper's simply because I like Piper. Although I do wish we got some sort of name card for the S rank characters at like M0, but M3 is kind of far away. And then here are all of the titles that I have collected. The number of logins I have as of the time of recording is 359, so just shy of a year. Although I did start the game a little bit over a year ago. And then I will say that the title that I use most frequently is Put the Coat on Her, because like, you know. So here are the rest of my titles. I don't know if this is super interesting, but you can just kind of see like my friendship titles as well. So that's kind of it. I do want to unlock some more of the friendship titles, but it's kind of tough to go through the friendship events. Like, they're kind of long, you know? You have to do it for quite a while. Speaking of friendship, I'll also maybe show you the wallpapers that I use just for fun. So the main 5 that I use, which I have switching at random, is Nicole's. I really like her wallpaper. I think it's just like pretty aesthetic, you know? I like her pose and I like the background. I also really like Anby's. I just kind of like the sky and city scenery that we have going on here. And then I have Astra just cause Astra is so cute. And I also use Caesar's. I just like this like motorcycle pose that she has got going on. So I do have her. And then lastly, I am also using Evelyn. Although I love Miyabi, personally, I don't really love her background as much. I don't know, just something about that giant truck kind of bothers me. Although everything else is nice. The nighttime sky and the colors and stuff are nice. I just don't vibe with this truck. Right, and then lastly, I do want to talk more about my future pulls and my wish list for this game. Right now, it is Alice's banner, and I did give her banner like a couple of 10 pulls, but I didn't get anything, so I just decided to stop. Perhaps in the future, I may or may not want to pull for her. And then for upcoming characters, we do have Seed and Orphe coming up very soon. I did consider pulling for Seed when she was first announced. However, I decided I'm just not going to pull for her since I did pull Yanagi recently. So I feel like I have the electric covered. Although I'm sure Seed will be great for my trigger. And then same with Orphe. I was a fan of her design like since the season 2 trailer came out. I really love the horns. However, I already have a number of fire agents. I have Evelyn, I have Jifufu, I have Bernice, so I don't really know if I need to pull for another fire agent at this time, but if she's like strong and fun to use, I might consider pulling her in the future. And then for more upcoming characters, I think I will probably pull for Lucia, especially if she's gonna be like a rupture support, which I'm assuming she'll be great for Ishuen. And then with Yidhari, I'm also not sure if I'll pull for Yidhari. I think her like tentacles situation is very interesting. I also think that her being an ice rupture agent is really interesting. I wonder how she'll stack up next to Miyabi or next to Ishuen. And then also, assuming that Minato is an A rank, I will definitely be pulling Mindscapes for him. Hopefully he'll be on the same banner as Lucia, so I'll be able to get some copies of him. And then for other future characters that I'm not sure will be playable, but I hope are playable, number one is Isolde. I really hope that Isolde is playable because I really love her design. I thought that she was pretty cool in the recent quest with Yuzuha and Alice. And then another character that I'm hoping to see is Zhao. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but the tiny little rabbit. I think she's so cute. I do hope that she is playable as well in this version. So I think those are the characters that I can mainly think of for sort of future polls or wishlist characters. And something that I forgot to mention earlier on in the video, I am not free to play. I always have the what's it called? The membership, the interknot membership. I always have that going on. I also have gotten the battle pass several times. I have also purchased polychromes in the past. In this version 2, I have yet to purchase any. I feel like Zenless is really generous with the polychromes, and I've been able to pull for several characters already in version 2 without needing to purchase additional polychromes, which is great. Well, that just about wraps up my account tour. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you think that I need to fix anything in any of my builds or even in any of my team comps, feel free to let me know. I am always open to constructive criticism for my builds, and feel free to let me know in the comments if there are any future characters that you're looking forward to, whether they've already been announced or not. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.